We are Two Guys Playing Zelda, and you can follow us on Twitter at Two Guys Play Zelda or email us at twoguysPlayingZelda@gmail.com.
Welcome to the second part of our walkthrough of Jabu Jabu's Belly. It's the third and final dungeon as Young Link in Ocarina of Time. In the first part of our walkthrough, you saw us kill a few tentacled enemies that blocked our passage deeper into this dungeon, and now that they've been eliminated, we can explore a little deeper into Jabu Jabu's Belly.
And we got all the items so far in the dungeon. As you can see, there was a tentacle earlier in this hole right here. I've already fought through, and now it's not there anymore. So.
Yep, it's one of the few times we actually do want to drop into the holes that are exposed. And a very important point there is sometimes when you fall through these holes, you don't want to move the joystick because you can miss the platforms you're aiming for. Sometimes it's best to just fall and let go of the joystick.
Because if you miss those ledges, you got to backtrack through. I don't know how much exactly the dungeon, but you got to backtrack through a lot of the dungeon.
You do. Missing ledges in this dungeon is not good.
No, it's not.
As soon as you drop through that hole, though, you do get a couple of gold skulltulas right here for you.
Right beside each other, which is very rare.
Very rare, very rare. But as you also saw with me there, sometimes you might want to take care of the enemies that are coming after you before you go after the gold skulltulas.
These enemies, they'll sneak up on you in this game.
Yes, they do. And also a neat little trick I learned while doing this is when you're throwing the boomerang on something you can't Z-target, you can use Link's head almost as a
like crosshair. Yeah, crosshair.
Yep, and I think that's a neat little trick there.
Yeah.
But now here you see the Zora Sapphire, which is eventually the final...
third spiritual stone.
Yep.
Whew.
third spiritual stone. It's eventually the final treasure you'll get from this dungeon. But if you're familiar with Zelda games, you'll know that we're not quite there yet. We got boss fights to go.
Yes,
And I think Hick and I both agree that this mini-boss we're about to have to fight...
probably one of the worst ones.
...is one of the least enjoyable in Zelda games in general.
I mean, just like... And I think you have... I've seen the walkthrough, and I think you do very good right here, but just like... I mean, you can spend a lot of time just circling around this little middle pillar or whatever you want to call it. Like
platform.
Just, you kind of got a good strategy to come up with here, but yeah, just kind of a... Not a difficult boss. Like, he doesn't take a lot of your hearts or a lot of your health away from you, but just time-consuming if you don't know how to beat him.
And honestly, if you don't run in a good circle, he can take your hearts away because, as you saw in that platform race,
it spikes.
The spikes come out, and those can get you. And you have to hug close to them to catch up with this giant Octo Rock.
That is true. You probably can explain your strategy a little bit better right here that you use, because I still know it. Well, as you go flying,
don't do that. It's that simple. Honestly,
two guys showing you not what to do.
Exactly. When the guy's running away from you, basically you just have to hit him in the back with your boomerang. You have to hug as close to that wall as you can so you can catch up to him. As you saw, I ran into the spikes.
Here's where the strategy comes into play, doesn't it?
Not quite. Yeah, when he's coming after you, you can stun him. And you won't really see it here because I try to chase him around backwards, but this is not smart that way.
I don't know about the strategy you're using here, Red.
Here we go. Here's what I was going to try to get at. After you hit him, he'll start coming after you. If you stun him with your boomerang while he's facing you, you can't hit him with your sword. But when he unstuns, he starts spinning in these circles. And I saw that it is possible to hit him at the right time to where his backside with the glowing
so basically just keep on a random throwing at him, basic kind of.
It's a roll of the dice.
Okay.
If you can hit him while his backside's facing you, you can go ahead and hit him with your sword another time.
There's probably less time to do in this though.
Exactly. As you saw, I couldn't quite get the timing right, or I didn't get the luck of the draw, however it is. So I had to go back to chasing him around this pillar. But thankfully,
good throw right there though.
That was a good throw, and thankfully I avoided hitting the spikes. I think I'd maybe try one more time here to get him on the spin.
I think you get him here on the spin. Oh, okay.
I missed him.
Oh, you missed. Oh, you did miss him.
Missed him entirely.
Okay.
But honestly, if you're able to get him, it can shorten this fight dramatically. But honestly, as long as you can avoid these spikes but stay close enough to him to catch up to him. I mean, you've seen me miss with a few boomerang throws already.
And just keep on throwing the boomerangs. It really doesn't slow you down any at all when you throw that boomerang. So I mean, just
it does.
If you think it close enough to go and hit him, but
there he is. I mean, you saw I lost three hearts there maybe, but when he dies, he does spit up 3 or 4 hearts.
But as long as you avoid the spikes, I think you're in pretty good shape, really.
Yep. One good thing about beating this boss is we no longer have to worry about carrying Princess Ruto around.
Yeah, we don't see her till the very end. Actually, we don't see her till after Temple. Yes, that's right.
And if you need a fairy, there's one right there for you. I think I went to check my bottles. Why, I don't know, because I'd already touched the fairy. But, you know, sometimes that's...
It's always good to check. It's always good to check.
It's always good to check. But it is great having the boomerang against these jellyfish enemies, because earlier we couldn't kill them without it.
Who has jellyfish in their stomach?
I hope I don't. I'll say that.
I want to know, like, I mean, a big fish / whale, do they eat jellyfish? That's what I want to know.
Apparently he does. This is an interesting room, and I do believe this is the only room in the entire game that has these weird moving platforms.
I never thought about that, but I think you're right.
But all you have to do is hit them to stun them and jump across them. It's a little tougher with that Octo Rock there shooting at you.
Yeah, good idea. Like, you don't have to kill them, but maybe if you want to,
I mean,
make it a little bit easier.
You saw I got hit twice by that guy. It might have been easier to jump down and deflect the rock at him with your Deku shield. But we got through there anyway. And now we'll see we're back in one of the very earliest rooms in the dungeon, honestly. But now we have a platform we can use.
Yeah, and you gotta get a box to sit on a switch. And
earlier you saw us using Princess Ruto to hold down a switch. Now we have to use a box.
That's the entrance. That's the entrance right there.
Yep, that goes all the way back to the entrance of the dungeon. But yeah, here's one of those switches you have to keep weighed down. Like I mentioned earlier, we used Ruto for it. Now we have boxes for it.
And I think, isn't this the room right for the boss? Yes, it is. Yes, the room right for the boss room.
Yes, we have this room, then the boss. And this room has a lot more of these jellyfish enemies. Easy to kill with your boomerang, even though I still somehow managed to
throw it to the wall
and then get
shot.
But there are several of these jellyfish enemies. There's also a gold Skulltula in this room that you'll see in a moment. That we have to take care, or you don't have to take care of, but it's ideal.
The gold Skulltulas are pretty easy in this dungeon, really.
As long as you know where they're at. And honestly, with some of the ones we saw earlier, you saw them
nice
earlier.
Nice throw there. I still did red.
I missed horribly. I said, screw this. I will use my slingshot.
Here's my question. How does the boomerang go through the wall? That's my question.
I think you're asking.
The boomerang went all the way through the wall.
I think you're asking physics questions that Zelda just can't answer. But that gets us, I believe, our third gold Skulltula of
in this dungeon. Yeah.
But I thought this was a nice little puzzle you get right here. You have to hit the switch on the other side of this wall. And I'll be honest, the first time I ever played this game, it took me a lot of throws to get around.
Well, it took you a lot of throws. It took me a while just to figure out what to do. So at least you got to the throws first.
Kind of makes you wonder, though, if you can get on a different place and shoot it with your slingshot, maybe. I don't know.
No, I don't think you can.
I feel like we would have tried that.
No, I can tell you can because I tried that. Yeah, first time, you know, and a good rule in Zelda is always, if you ever get stuck in a part, which that's pretty easy, but hey, none of us are the smartest people in the world, okay?
We can all agree
If you ever get stuck somewhere in Zelda, always remember the last, weapons or items you got. Those can usually help you out in some way, so...
It's especially useful advice when you encounter the
process of elimination.
Yes. And in this boss, you'll see just how valuable that boomerang is. And as Hick mentioned, you know, when in doubt, use whatever weapon you got in that dungeon.
Yes.
Good advice.
Most people play because they're they're smart and figure things out because they're smart. I play by process of elimination.
And as you've probably seen in a few of our walkthroughs, we try a lot of things that don't necessarily work. But that's how we learn.
Yes,
that's how we learn. This boss, honestly, isn't...
Because this was our first time playing the game.
Right. Anyway, this boss isn't necessarily a difficult fight. It can be, if you're not paying attention, his satellite dishes that shoot electricity at you and these jellyfish can do damage. And if you're kind of stupid like me...
Yeah, I think you should. Yeah, you want to go at him with the sword right there.
Yeah.
Red didn't do that, but you want to go at him with the sword right there when he's kind of up and, you know, exposable, I guess.
Yeah, and when he's stunned blue in that color, I believe he's exposed.
Yeah, you can hit him.
And for some reason, I went after these jellyfish.
And I think these things just kind of start... Yeah, because the jellyfish or the whatever just start back up, I think, again, right away.
They regenerate.
Yeah, they regenerate, yeah. So, yeah, you definitely hit him with the sword there the first time. So I think you hit him with the sword, and then you kill these jellyfish, and then it goes on to whatever the next part is.
Yeah. But it was a live and learn process, so... But the more of these jellyfish you kill, the less they'll come spinning at you in this stage of this boss fight, which is nice.
Yeah.
And it makes it easier to get the boomerang into his body as well.
Yeah.
That's why you see me attacking them now, to totally get them out of the way. And also in this stage, he actually sinks all the way into the ground to where you can't...
Now, you had a good point about these electric shots right here, whatever you want to call it. Like, as long as you're, don't get hit with them right away, you can run through them or whatever.
Yes, that's correct. I mean, you don't see me really exhibit that very well, but As long as you miss the very front.
Okay, so
like
if you miss that, you can run through.
You can run through the beams as long as you don't get hit by the front end. The few times you've seen me get hit have been just direct hits.
That seems to happen a lot with both of us, to be honest with you.
Yes, I'll be honest. I took a few straight shots.
The direct hits in Zelda against us must... the buttons are usually sticking when we're playing, so that's our problem.
Oh, yeah.
You see, you just ran right through him right there.
Yep. And no damage dealt. That one, I won't talk about that one.
Hey, still surviving.
Yep. The way he moves does sometimes make it hard to hit him with your boomerang, but you just gotta keep at it. And that's how you kill him.
Yeah. Not too hard of a boss.
Not too hard at all. I mean, you can take some damage from the jellyfish and the electric shocks, but all in all, he's a manageable boss, especially compared to some of the later ones.
As long as you're just patient with him, I guess, really. Just kind of... I mean, all you gotta use is just boomerang and sword, so, I mean, just be patient.
Keep moving.
Yeah, keep moving.
Because if you don't keep moving...
As long as you have a Z target, you're fine.
And once you beat him, you get the heart container, which gives you another heart, obviously.
Yeah, that never happens in any dungeons, Red. Thanks.
No, never. And also, we now see the formerly captured Princess Ruto.
And now we also have all 3 spiritual stones, so we'll be going back to the Temple of Time after this.
Princess Ruto still has to give you a little bit of attitude just because she's a princess.
Yes.
But that's neither here nor there. But that wraps up the second part of our walkthrough of Jabu Jabu's Belly.